Hi, nice to meet you. And thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Changdeokgung Palace is a palace built during the Joseon dynasty in Seoul, the capital of the Republic of Korea. Changdeokgung Palace is famous for its unique architectural style that seeks harmony with nature. The garden hidden here is very beautiful, and it is said that during the Joseon dynasty, no one except the royal family was allowed to enter. Changdeokgung Palace is said to be the only palace in Korea designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in recognition of its beauty and the spirit of Koreans seeking harmony with nature. A very sad history is hidden in this beautiful palace. Let's learn about the history of this palace. At the end of the Goryeo dynasty, China was under Mongol rule. When the power of the Yuan dynasty, established by the Mongols, weakened, the Han Chinese revolted, and they were called Red Turban. After being attacked by the Yuan, Red Turban fled toward the Korean peninsula and attacked Goryeo. Their attack caused great damage to Goryeo. At that time, Japan was in the northern and southern courts period, when two emperors fought each other for control of the Japanese archipelago. Japanese society was in a very chaotic situation, so they could not control the pirates. The Japanese pirates increased in number and formed a huge force. They invaded Goryeo and committed many looting. In the midst of this, the nobles of Goryeo used their power to run large-scale farms and exploit the people, consuming a lot of national power and leading a luxurious life. Because of these problems, the people of Goryeo were living a very difficult life. Meanwhile, the Red Turban Revolt succeeded and the Han Chinese established the Ming Dynasty. As their power grew stronger, the Ming Dynasty began to make unreasonable requests, such as demanding part of the territory from Joseon. King Yu of Goryeo decided to attack the Ming Dynasty and dispatched an army of 40,000 men. The commander of the army attacking the Ming Dynasty was Yi Sung-jae. It is said that Yi Sung-jae was a general who had never been defeated in the battles against the Red Turban and Japanese pirates, and for this reason, he was very popular among the people of Goryeo. He opposed attacking the Ming Dynasty, citing as examples that Japanese pirates could attack Joseon from behind if they attacked the Ming Dynasty, and that epidemics could spread in the summer. However, King Yu and his father-in-law, Choi Young, ordered him to attack the Ming Dynasty, and he had no choice but to go to attack the Ming Dynasty. When he arrived at the Amnok-gang River, the border between the Goryeo and Ming dynasties, flooding prevented him from crossing the river. He saw this and told King Yu to stop the war once again, but King Yu ordered him to continue the war. In response, he revolted with the soldiers he had, killed Choi Young, drove out King Yu, and became the king himself. And he created a new country, which was Joseon. He had 3 wives and had 8 sons and 5 daughters. Among the sons of his first wife, Bangwon played a very important role in Yi Sung-jae's ascension to the throne. Among the officials of the Goryeo dynasty, there were many who opposed Yi Sung-jae's establishment of a new country. It was Bangwon who persuaded these people to obey Yi Sung-jae or even killed them. He was a man of great ambition. After Yi Sung-jae founded Joseon, his second wife, Queen Sindeok, began to persuade him to select her son as his successor. His first wife, Queen Sinwi, died a year before he founded Joseon, so Queen Sindeok could have said such a thing. And his men also insisted that Bang Suk should be the king. This is because they thought that if Bang Suk became king rather than Bangwon, which they feared, they could do the politics they wanted. In the end, Yi Sung-jae nominated Bang Suk as his successor. When Bangwon learned of this, he was very angry. This is because he was hoping that he would be chosen as Yi Sung-jae's successor, because he had made the greatest contribution to the founding of Joseon. Since ancient times in Korea, it has been customary for the first son to succeed to the throne. With this as the cause, Bang Wan revolted and killed Bang Bian and Bang Suk, the sons of Yi Sungjai's second queen. It is said that Yi Sungjai, who saw this, was angry and abdicated the throne, and went to Hamhung to spend the rest of his life alone. After the rebellion succeeded, Bang Wan placed his older brother Bangwa on the throne. Afterwards, Bangwa passed the throne to Bang Wan, and Bang Wan became the third king of the Joseon dynasty. He put a lot of effort into strengthening the royal power. Bang Wan believed that the nobility might revolt, just as he had revolted. So he eliminated the private army and created a centralized state. Also, he created a system for his subordinates to monitor and check each other, and he handled all political issues himself. Due to these measures, the royal authority of Joseon was greatly strengthened. Meanwhile, Bang Wan was reluctant to live in Jeongbogyeong, the place where he had killed his half-brothers. So he built a new palace, which was called Changdeokgung Palace. It is said that Changdeokgung Palace is so beautiful that many kings besides Bang Wan liked to stay at Changdeokgung Palace. As an aside, after establishing Joseon, Yi Sungjai prepared to attack the Ming dynasty, which he had previously opposed. However, the attack on the Ming dynasty was halted by the rebellion of Bang Wan, and Bang Wan tried to establish friendly relations with the Ming dynasty. Although Bang Wan had a successful rebellion, it was impossible to know who would attack him and when from within. So he prioritized stabilizing the interior of Joseon rather than starting a war. The alliance between the Ming dynasty of China and Joseon continued until the Japanese invasion of Korea in 1592. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who unified the Japanese archipelago, asked Joseon to lead the way to occupy the Ming dynasty in China, and hoped that Joseon would become an outpost for the invasion of the Ming dynasty. However, Joseon rejected the offer, and this war became an international war in the form of a war between Joseon and Japan, and the Ming dynasty helping Joseon. As a result, the combined forces of the Ming and Joseon dynasties were victorious, but all three countries suffered heavy losses. The Ming dynasty, which had been collapsing, suffered bankruptcy due to this war, and lost the country to the Jurchen people. The Jurchen people, also called the Manchurian, were people ruled by Goguryeo and Balhae in ancient times. Originally, they were unable to unite their forces due to the checks between Joseon and Ming dynasties. But when the powers of the Ming and Joseon dynasties weakened, due to the Japanese invasion of Korea, and their control over them was neglected, they strengthened their power and occupied mainland China. They founded the Qing dynasty, which is also famous as a country that fought the Opium War with Britain. The damage suffered by Joseon was also very great, and after this war, the state of Joseon was almost turned into a zombie state, and it was barely able to run the state. The Toyotomi Hideyoshi family in Japan, which started the war, was also destroyed by Tokugawa Ieyasu in Japan. Such a huge war resulted in catastrophe for all countries that participated in the war. Back to the point. The person who became king after Bang Wan was Yi Du, the son of Bang Wan. He was later called King Sejong. He was able to pursue the policies he wanted based on the powerful kingship his father had established. One of them was the creation of Hangul. Until Hangul was invented, Koreans used Chinese characters. Sejong thought that the illiteracy rate of the people of Joseon was high, because Korean was difficult to express in Chinese characters. He worked day and night with his subordinates to create new character, and the result was Hangul. However, he thought he should listen to the advice of his subjects, and it is said that, unlike his father, he pursued a policy of pursuing harmony between the king and the subordinates. The evaluation of Bang Wan is divided into two. First of all, there is an evaluation that he is a cold-blooded man who brutally killed the officials of the Goryeo dynasty and killed his half-brother. On the other hand, although he made tragic events in his family history, he created a strong monarchy and a system that could control the provinces, so that the later kings were less constrained by local powers and subject, and could conduct the politics they wanted. Thank you for watching this video.